Hello! We're going to talk about lemon and valor today as part of using the February Fit and Trim emotional oils. And I'm sipping on some sleep tea, and this is like a subliminal message to remind you to go get your sleep products out. I'm really embarrassed to say that I had a box of like some of the remnants of sleep caps from, I'm not entirely sure, it must be last January, and I think we took a box of them, but then we had a second box and never finished it. And while it's nice to have that to start now, I'm like, I can't believe that I didn't go through all of those when I had them. That's like precious gold, and it's so good. Okay, so go get your sleep products, and lemon and valor. Okay, so what's really great about this is I did not realize how well these were going to tie into what we're doing in March, but I had a big epiphany about what we're doing in March. And I'm telling you this because it's going to be massively different for you to approach a pretty big step that we're going to take in March if you will start now with lemon and valor at least. The others are amazing, but these are two that I know most people already have. And so if you can commit to using lemon and valor every day, seriously, it's not going to feel as overwhelming when we approach the bigger exercise, okay? I'm trying to prepare you because I want you to be ready. But let's talk about lemon for being motivated and valor for awareness, okay? I know that I've kind of talked about the awareness thing before. It's really in a way, the message that goes across all of the emotions that we're going to work on this year, because this is about staying aware instead of having these goals that drop off and we kind of slip into not being intentional with our health and with personal growth for the rest of the year. This year is the challenge to be aware all year and not to make excuses to slip back into the old patterns and just saying, I don't really have the capacity in my life to stay aware of what's going on. You do have the capacity, and that capacity is what makes some people rise above a level of mediocrity. Or that's, in my personal opinion, I think that's the difference, is people who are willing to continually dig and become more aware of who they are and how they can learn about other people versus giving up because it doesn't look like what they thought it was going to look like. I'm just going to be totally honest and tell you that a few weeks ago, I had an experience where I was trying to dig around and find something out about myself, and I thought I had figured it out and was feeling encouraged, and then I just felt like this total plateau, worse than a plateau. It was a little bit like being back where I was a year or two ago and going, okay, so this is what I was trying to work through then. Why am I going through this again now? But as I emphasized in one of our videos last month, there are cycles to things, and once you, I'm just going to keep saying this and keep saying this, once you attain a level of freedom and awareness, okay, at some point it's going to start hurting and aching a little bit when you're getting pushed out of that comfort zone into the next thing. And the thing is that the more aware you become, the less comfortable that place gets. So I'm at a point where that comfortable place of not pushing myself doesn't feel good. It feels like, to compare to the rest of the things that we're working on, it's kind of like constipation or like being toxic, or it's like the emotional equivalent of those things. Sorry if that's gross, but it's sort of what it's like. It's like, no, this isn't right. I have to move on from this point. And until you've pushed yourself in that way continually for a long time, you don't necessarily have that self-nudging mechanism as much. You train it and build it. And that's how all of this comes together. I just want you to see like the way that every piece of the Baby Steps to Wellness fits together. Just like Lauren is helping us by training us a little bit at the time and giving us the kind of tools like with the yoga. Oh my goodness, I've been blown away because that fits with the kind of training that's going on in the rest of my life and personal development. It's about core, right? And it's about holding the core. You've got to hold the core the whole time. And it's relaxing and it brings peace in the one sense, but it's also so challenging, and it challenges at the root of everything else that's going to build up off of it, okay? And then we're also building our endurance with the training with walking and then running and jogging, right? So that is why it's so crucial to use the valor for awareness and growth. And then the lemon for motivation. This one will sneak up on you because you have to stay motivated to keep doing something about the awareness that you're getting. And that's where I think we fall off sometimes, is we get some awareness, but there's a lack of motivation because we haven't seen the results maybe we wanted, or, and this is a big thing that I'm going to emphasize for February and then again in March. We cannot only enjoy the success or the attained goals that people can give us, like, what's the word? That people can see, kind of the bragging rights, like, oh, you hit that goal. Because that'll get you to a few pounds of weight loss where everyone goes, oh, you look great, or oh, you won the weight loss challenge, or whatever it is. But we have to really celebrate the goals that only we will know, like between us and God and our spirit, because there are goals like that. And also the goals that only people who really truly know us and see how much we've changed might recognize and encourage in us. And there are a lot of very serious changes that we can make, emotionally and spiritually especially, probably, that you are not going to hear the rest of the world applaud you for or be like, wow, that looks awesome. And this gets into like wanting the Father's approval over man's approval. And spiritually aware people will end up coming to you and saying, wow, you know, I see this in you, but you can't wait around for it, right? So that's where a lot of this comes in, is you've got to be able to motivate and feel rejuvenated and refreshed because of who is in your own spirit. Jesus lives inside of you. The ultimate motivation is inside of you. But you have to be able to listen for that, okay? Because if you're listening for everybody else, you're going to get tired when that's the kind of improvement that you're making. And you're going to be like, no, I need the other thing. I'm not moving forward, so I'm not motivated because I'm not hearing the big voice over here of what things look like. But scripture is very clear that man looks at the outside. Okay, so man sees those things that are the goals, you know, that we'd like to attain, that are visible and applaudable. But Jesus is looking for something else. That's a part of it. I think that that's sort of like a result of the transformation that goes on inside. But he's looking for something that most people can't see. First of all, find the people that can see it and spend time with them and like invest in them and give to them and be grateful for the way that they invest in you and recognize those things in you. And for all of us, guess who one of those people is? Courtney. Courtney is one of those people for every person on this team. She recognizes growth in her leaders. She recognizes growth in every person that she interacts with and learns about and finds out about. And, you know, if you have an opportunity locally to like interact with Courtney, then you should do that. She's not going to sit here and tell you, you should really get face-to-face with me because I'm awesome. So I'm going to tell you, if you can get face-to-face with Courtney, you need to, because she's awesome. And because when you interact with her, you will sense what I'm talking about. But there are hopefully people in your life, and hopefully very close to you in relationship, that you can celebrate that they're that type of person who recognizes the less seen things, okay? Sometimes we have to take our eyes off of what is seen and focus on heavenly things. And those heavenly things include what goes on spiritually that not everyone can recognize. This video is a little bit longer than I intended it to be, so I'm going to wrap up.